Hello, I'm Iron Fury, and this is a serious discussion about serious matters. And I'm joined by a few guests this time. First, I would like to introduce.
You gonna introduce anybody?
This is going wonderful so far.
Oh God!
We're keeping this in.
Got it.
Yes.
The first person I'm joining with today, you might know him as RMGMD Punk.
What's up?
The second person joining me today, you know him as Mike Jr. the Second.
Yo.
And the third person joining me today, do you even have a YouTube channel?
Yes, it's Dogongo.
Him.
He is
Yeah.
also partnered with Zooming Games, like we are.
Yes.
Not me.
Well,
Yeah,
not,
I'm not
well,
sure.
you know, yeah, but
You know, Mike, they take anybody like pretty easily. I think
Yeah.
you have to ask.
Yeah, no, I think I could do it because I've actually been catching up with some videos lately with views. I've been surprised, so I'm considering it.
Do that shit.
it's not a lot
Yeah.
of money, but you know, it's something. But you know,
Yeah.
that's besides the
We
point.
could all be cool cats under the same roof.
Zooming crew.
Yeah. But enough of that shit. We have a serious discussion today. Well,
Speaking of partnerships,
yeah, speaking of partnerships, you would have to be living under a rock to have not heard about the recent fiasco with Nintendo and content IDing. Yeah. Now, content IDing is basically when Nintendo will go on a video. Well, we'll use Nintendo as an example, but this could be anybody. They'll go on a video and, you know, oh, he's playing this game. Well, that's our copyright, so we're going to claim it. So, what this does is essentially give advertisement revenue to Nintendo and not to the person who uploaded the video, which would be fine if it weren't for the fact that they're doing this to partners who basically, that's the whole idea, is that they're supposed to be making money off of this, and now they're not.
And you know, basically, what I don't understand is that why does Nintendo hate free advertising like this? Because I know a lot of people have publicly stated, yeah, I'm not playing any more Nintendo games for my channels. Like, no first-party Nintendo games. I'm done with them.
I know, and I'm sure others are going to follow suit over this until Nintendo solves this issue. And quite frankly, part of me doesn't blame them.
I agree with, I'm one of them. I mean, I haven't played any first-party Nintendo games anyway, but any plans I had for them right now were definitely on the back burner.
I know for my own channel, I mean, obviously you guys know me. I generally do retro games, and I do games of my childhood. And Nintendo was a big part of that. You know, because that's what we had when we were kids. I had to...
well, it's for a lot of it because Nintendo's been around for so long. The IPs have evolved from the NES, from 8-bit to now to full HD.
I know, finally, but...
That's a whole nother thing. Whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But it's true, though. I mean, I generally did Nintendo games, which, with the exception of some games, made my partnership meaningless.
Have they actually content ID'd your stuff too?
Not yet, but, I mean, if I upload anything now, it's probably only a matter of time.
Yeah, that's something I'm not exactly sure about. Are they hitting older videos, or is it just the very new stuff?
I
don't
they're
even
trying
know.
to hit them all.
They probably
That's
won't be able to hit them all.
That's the thing. They've been so vague about it that nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
It's
knows
hard to
anything.
understand.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything. They're not just hitting LPs because they said it doesn't. They said all they said about this was that it was going to be a certain length, and that they didn't go into any detail about what that means. It almost sounds like they just don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think basically that's just them trying to be nice and saying that, you know, by not giving a specific time frame, they're saying that basically they can hit anything.
What kills me is it sounds like they just don't know their medium. They don't know the medium that they're trying to do this on.
Well, the weird thing is that a while ago, the Runaway guys actually got something from Nintendo. They're not exactly sure what it from. It was to promote their new game for the 3DS. So it's weird that all of a sudden they would tell them to do that and then change it around. So some people think this is a decision from Nintendo from Japan.
Well,
You are very stingy on copyright.
I did get one. I did get one thing. One of my older videos, I uploaded the song from Super Mario 64 for Jolly Roger Bay. I uploaded the music to that, and I got a claim on it from Nintendo of Japan.
Yeah, Nintendo's done that for music for a while now. That's it's not new.
I definitely think it might be Nintendo of Japan. Like I said, though, it's been so vague that nobody knows what the hell is going on. All they know is, oh shit, now if I do this for a living, I'm fucked.
Basically.
And that's the biggest thing.
And that's only if they're hitting the older videos, too, which I'm not exactly sure if they're doing that yet. Nobody knows.
Well, all we know is that some guy got hit already with it. I forget who, but it was just some dude who got.
Was it Josh Jepson?
No, it was some other guy, like somebody I've never even heard of. But
I had a friend a few days ago was talking about he was doing a blind link to the past playthrough, and he got hit with it a few days ago before the whole thing blew up, too.
I know, but
and it was just like, it was a guy who doesn't get anything like 8-10 views or something like that, not really that popular. He still got hit with it.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going to be indiscriminately hitting people with this, and the problem is this is going to hurt Nintendo more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's already hurt their public reputation in the gaming community's eyes.
I know, and you got a lot of people. There are three types of people when it comes to this situation. There are people who, like us, think that this is stupid and wrong and all that shit. Then there are others who think that Nintendo is doing the right thing, either because they hate LPs or because they, just blindly believe in copyright. And then there's the third group, which just doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I call it a conversation, but that actually implies that a sensible person is actually responding back. But I had an exchange with a person on another video about this, and it is definitely a polarizing issue, because you got people who there are people out there who despise LPs blindly so, and I do mean blindly so.
There was an incident a few years ago where there was a group of people who believed RPGs should not be LP'd, and they were flagging them like crazy. A long time ago.
They had, was that during the summer when everybody was getting hit?
Yeah, something like that. Like, even Chugga got hit, a lot of people got hit.
I thought they were just trolls. I didn't know they were actually, like...
Yeah, apparently it was a group of people who thought that RPGs, I'm guessing because of how story-driven they were, they shouldn't be a Let's Play. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I heard that there was all kinds of bullshit going around with that. Like, it got to a point where they were flagging people by using the names of people that they had already gotten who were filing counterclaims.
Oh God! I wasn't doing. We started 2 years ago, but I didn't catch wind of this one.
This was like 2009. This was like
this was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
A few years. This was years ago.
But kind of staying on subject, it's people like that who absolutely despise Let's Plays, basically.
And and it's funny that you brought that up, because that was a similar argument that people have been saying, that it quote unquote ruins the game. Mm-hmm. First off, asshole, and I have no problem saying that you are an asshole. Who the fuck are you to make the determination that a game is ruined for somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm just being, if I'm just kind of thinking about this too hard, but isn't that kind of up to the individual?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I know for a fact that there are games that I would have never played had I not seen an LP of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
And it's a good way to see if a game is worth buying.
Not only that, but what about games from the days of old that were good that nobody ever noticed?
Nobody noticed, and no one's either re-releasing now for Virtual Console or PSN or anything like that.
Exactly. I would have never played Donkey Kong for the Game Boy had I not seen Round the Wheel play that shit years ago.
There's also something else which I think nobody brings up, but the fact that there are many games out there with convoluted storylines and timelines and whatnot, and yet there's no way we could go back and play these games, yet there's sequels coming out that either reference it or might turn people off. I've currently decided I'm going to get Pikmin 3 because I was able to watch a playthrough of 1 and 2, but I would have not gotten Pikmin 3 without those playthroughs I could have watched.
And not only that, but there's also another prevailing argument from these people, from these mouth breathers, that for some reason there's this idea that they need to get real jobs. Which is one of the most obnoxious, arrogant things I've ever heard anybody say about something. First off, who the fuck are you to make that determination on what's a real job and what isn't? Okay, people don't generally see this side of me on YouTube, but if there's one thing I happen to know a little something about, it's economics. Okay? And you don't need to know a lot about economics to know that if somebody's paying for something, that's a job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting paid to do something, that's a job. That means there's a market for it. That means that there's a demand for it. And guess what? LPers who get paid for it, they're in demand.
Like them or hate them, it gets money.
There you go. Listen, if LPs weren't a market, then anybody could upload any fucking gameplay footage they want and it would get just as much views, commentary or not. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't work that way. Because LPs are a different medium, and it's not even just LPs, reviews are also in the same. Video games with commentary is a totally different medium than just a movie or a show.
And that's mostly because each different, nothing's going to be the same.
Exactly.
No one plays games the same way.
Exactly. And a lot of this, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been already said before, but the fact is, people don't watch these just for the gameplay footage. They also watch it for the personalities behind the gameplay footage.
Yep.
I mean, if Let's Plays are something where it's just, oh, nobody cares about them, why are people... I mean, at least with Nintendo's sake, it's like, why are you hurting these people who are obviously coming to these people? These specific people, Nintendo Capri Sun, Chuck Conroy, stuff like that. They're obviously subscribed to these people, not because of the games they play, but because of the people themselves.
Exactly. Chuck Conroy could play Pong.
Oh, million views.
And it would get 10 billion views. He could play fucking Tetris for 5 hours, and people would still flock to that shit like flies to shit. But it's true. It's true. Some people can play whatever the fuck they want, and people will love the shit out of it. I've seen some... Look up a video by Team UDF called Dimension. Okay? It's not even a game, and people flocked to that shit because, one, they like him. You know, they like his personality. You know? And that's what it comes down to. It's also about the personalities behind the game. Not only how people simply like their demeanor, or how people like how they present the game, either being really informative or being comedic. They want to see their triumphs and their failures. You know, sometimes they also just want to see how this one person handles this situation in a game. There's a market for this, and it sounds to me like it's just another case of Nintendo being old fuddy-duddies and trying to stick with this, 20th century business model in a totally different world.
And without a doubt, the people who are currently staying away from Nintendo, either because of money, which, whether or not you think is wrong or not, whether they're staying away from it because of money or because they are not really happy about Nintendo right now, that's going to affect them.
I know. And by the way, I don't think IGN is getting hit by this.
They're not?
Oh, there's no way they are. There's no way.
No, I don't think they're getting hit by this. I don't think any of the big reviewers, I don't think Game Trailers is getting hit by this.
No, Game Trailers is getting hit.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because guys like, you mean with the whole Nintendo Content ID thing?
Yeah, like AVGN.
Yeah,
and all
partnerships are even not allowed. Chugga's not getting money off of his video.
I know he's not, but I'm talking about places that have their own websites and shit.
Like IGN and
IGN and
I'm not sure about that. No.
Like they're not getting hit.
Yeah, no.
I'm talking about the big guys. Chuck Conroy and guys like them, they're big guys on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
They're big guys on YouTube. I'm talking about even bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Game Informer ain't gonna get hit by this.
No.
You know, they're not gonna get hit, nor is you know, any of the bullshit like that, and they're making tons of money off of this. But no, it's just, it sounds to me
It hurts the basic community.
it
kind
hurts
of.
the little guy. And
Yeah,
that's
it
what
hurts the little guy.
it hurts the little guy.
I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it was, hey, we're going to content ID your stuff because you don't monetize it anyway, but oh, you're going to start either monetizing it or you're in a partnership
Or
now?
what about this?
Fine, let's put a cut. That
That's
would have
it.
been fine. That would have been
That's
fine.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, they're and don't forget, like I said, there are guys who do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got douchebags saying, well, they need to get a real job. Who the fuck are you? You know?
Probably.
I mean, I can understand the difference
Chances
between-
are, there's a Let's Player who failed. Who wanted to do it
somebody
for the money
that's-
and didn't get any.
Or just somebody who hates people having fun.
That
Mhm.
too.
Because there are people like that out there. There are people who, for some reason, if you enjoy what you're doing, then you're not doing it right.
That's not a job. If you have a job you like, it's not a job.
You're enjoying yourself? That should be illegal. So, Mr. Quiet Jalen, we haven't heard much from you. What the hell you got to say?
Well, I agree pretty much on everything you say. Well, everything you say.
Well, good.
I'm not a dissenter. I'm not one of these crazy people.
That's a good start.
Really, this is another one of Nintendo's honestly big mistakes
That they made recently.
that they've made recently.
I've heard about the EA stuff, which, tell you the truth, I think that's nothing. I really do.
But they're doing small things. They're not doing a huge conference, but I heard they're still doing small things.
Yeah.
What kills me is one of the things that Nintendo said, going back to what we're actually talking about here. I got the email from Zoom and TV Games, and
Yes.
and Nintendo released a statement and something along the lines of they want to ensure that their IPs or something like, I don't know, I don't remember the exact wording. I'd have to look this back up, but they said something about how they wanted to go out in a friendly and safe way. Safe? Really? That's the word we're going to use here? Really? What the fuck is so dangerous about an LP?
Well, they also make it seem like that if they couldn't do this, they would have deleted every Let's Play they could have seen, or at least anything current.
And not only that, but the word safe has implications to it. There are severe implications with the word safe. It implies that there is danger. That there is potential danger, and the only thing that could potentially be dangerous is that somebody might say something bad about Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this game isn't that good.
Exactly. It sounds like it could be used as a way to hurt people who might not exactly be, having Nintendo in their favorites category.
Yeah.
And that's just fucked up if that's the case. I personally hope it's just a misunderstanding, but of course,
Well, the way they sound like it, again, it seems like it's bigger people. It's definitely not a bunch of small people rallying together. This is definitely a big decision from either Nintendo of America or Japan.
it's true, but like I said, it also sounds like they just don't have a clue about the medium that they're working with.
Yeah, how big this is. I mean, one of the bigger Let's Players out there are mostly people doing Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I if I had to, I could do some other games that weren't owned by Nintendo, but that fountain is going to dry quicker than if I had the chance to do Nintendo games too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a guy with an actual HD PVR set. So I can't do console games on the actual console. I use emulators, which means I'm restricted to what I can do. Which is fine because I primarily focus on retro games, but, I can only do so much. What, am I only going to play Sega Genesis games and arcade games?
As of
That's
right
what makes it
now,
fun.
I mean, shit. Besides our co-op stuff that I can get you some next gen footage with, basically Nintendo games and not going to get you anything.
I know. Unless they don't count third-party games on Nintendo consoles. If that's the case, I could still do stuff on there.
No, I'm pretty sure third party doesn't count because there's no way Nintendo can say, even if it's on our console, you can't
Yeah,
put
that's
footage
what,
on
I'm
it.
under the impression that it's just their first party IPs.
It's their IPs, basically.
But even still, I'm known for Mario.
Yeah, you are known for kicking ass at Mario.
I'm known for Mario.
But we're still not exactly sure what is also being hit. I mean, what do they have to register in the Content ID which catches that? I mean, how old do the games go back? I mean, obviously I said someone got hit with Link to the Past.
Well, first off, the Content ID program on YouTube is awful anyway.
It is
And
awful.
it's completely random.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, one
It is
day,
completely random.
Like
one
the
day they'll hit
sec-
me. I'll go ahead.
I was about to say, because about a year ago, we had something like this with Sega, with the Shining Force videos, except for that, not only were they weren't being Content
Oh,
ID, they were being
yeah.
taken down. Even if the name in the video said Shining Force.
Yeah, but that wasn't a Content ID issue. That was deliberate.
No, I know, I'm just saying that, but I believe some of those were caught with Content ID, but then deleted, were they not?
I don't know if they were called Content ID.
Okay, I'm not sure.
I just know that they were arbitrarily going after any videos that were related to Shining
with
Force in any
some
way.
with Content ID, basically when they catch it, they tell the person who owns the copyright that this video is there. It alerts the copyright holder that it's there. So that could be how Sega found out about so many of them, is because the Content ID system lets them know the videos are there.
Well, it had something to do with some guy wanting the search to come up with his stuff at Sega, so he wanted to delete everything he could so he could get the search in. I know, it sounds really arrogant. It was. To get his footage.
It's true, though, that me personally, this is going to fuck me up, Because, I mean, Nintendo was like my best friend growing up. And my channel is focused on the games that I owned or still own, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think that's for many people out there. Most Let's Players out there.
Yeah, the majority.
And it's just one of those things that when I, like, for example, if I wanted to start Zelda 1 today...
Which I think that'd be a great playthrough for you to do in the future.
Yeah, which would have been a great playthrough for me to do in the future. Oh, but now Nintendo doesn't want me doing that.
It's going to be hard
sure.
to see what can get around that, too. I mean, do
I
ROM
just-
hacks count? Stuff like that.
That's the thing. It's so vague. But even still, I could still upload the videos.
Yeah.
But, I get these Content IDs, and then I get none of the cut for it. I put all this work in. And don't get me wrong, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. But it's the idea.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's the fact that why should we, even if it was for the money, why should we be bitched at if it's for the money if Nintendo's doing the exact same thing, in a sense, for the money? Why can't they just leave it alone? I mean, they're obviously in it for the money, somehow.
Because greed only goes one way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the world works. Greed only works one way. For some reason, if they do it, it's not greed. If you do it, it is. And selfishness and all that bullshit.
I mean, some people are trying to say that it is primarily Nintendo's content on the videos being shown, but that doesn't mean, we're talking about a different medium here that's been untouched. It's different from playing with a football, because, you can do whatever you want with a football, but it's not like a movie where you watch it once and it's the same thing. It's a really big gray area, which hasn't really been decided yet.
That's like saying, oh, well, we're recording kids playing hopscotch, but we gotta actually put credits in there that give complete credit to the inventor of hopscotch.
Yeah.
What?
But that's the issue, though, is because the thing about a game is that you are constricted, and there are stories and whatnot, which sometimes, not always, but for some games, depending on how story-heavy they are, could somewhat ruin them. And that could be somewhat of a counter argument, but again, this is the gray area, because video games are in between being very playful, very, very interactive, but also very constricted. That's the gray area.
And this isn't even about whether or not intellectual property is bullshit, which it is, by the way. But and I could go into fucking detail about that, but playing devil's advocate here, assuming that intellectual property is even an actual thing,
Mm-hmm.
video games are a completely different medium than movies and television. It's a completely different medium. You have a unique individual experience, which you can't say for television, movies. You know, like you were saying, Mike, it's different every time. And Nintendo is basically saying, not only do we own the pictures, but we own your experience. We own the work that you put into playing this game. You know?
Yeah.
What Nintendo needs to realize is, without people like us, they wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, I think many of these LPers, especially since some of the biggest ones are Nintendo fanboys, not to say that's a bad thing, are helping people because people are going back and realizing older games, newer games that Nintendo make that are absolutely fantastic.
And I'm sorry, but some people would probably say, well, you could say the same thing without Nintendo, you wouldn't have video games. Sorry, that's not how it works. We live in a marketplace economy. People who actually try to function in the marketplace have to go by what the customer wants.
Oh, well then you need, there's Microsoft not doing that, but...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The customer is the one that determines whether or not they make money.
Now to have Microsoft up a little bit, though, Microsoft did do something similar where they told people they weren't allowed to monetize videos. However, they did allow partnerships, and basically you could get a license to monetize the videos. But Nintendo's not doing this.
Yeah. But
I mean, if that was happening, everything would be mostly peachy fine. I mean, some people would complain about, their regular videos not being able to do anything because they're not partnered, but it would still fucking be better.
If anything, that should motivate you to get partnered.
Right. Yeah, that would help. That would help the industry greatly.
And not only that, but it's just one of those things that's like, the marketplace is what determines everything. If the customers aren't happy, then they're not making money. And if Nintendo's goal is making money, then they shouldn't be pissing off their customers.
Especially with the Wii U, not selling that well. I mean, it is doing better than the 360 did when it came out. But with the Wii U, I mean, having Let's Plays about a lot of the Wii U games could concede people to buy other games. I mean, I bought a Wii U just because I saw someone play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
And
that would definitely help the Wii U sales, having more people not only being allowed to play the game without being content ID, but allowing them to monetize as well. People would flock to play Wii U games, or at least the IP games.
Not only that, but look at other companies that pissed off their fucking customers. You got EA, who were nominated the worst gaming company for multiple years in a row.
They got it, not just nominated. They for the past 2 years, they have successfully been named the worst company in the United States.
Yeah.
Not just gaming company, the worst company.
Well, the funny thing about that is that EA is actually not that bad with monetization footage on YouTube.
They're not.
But I'm just saying in general.
It's kind of funny when you think about it, but anyway.
I'm just saying in general, when you piss off your customers, your reputation suffers for it. And that's what happened to EA. And now EA is trying to do what it can to put faith back in its customers.
And
for example,
they got rid of online passes. That was the best.
I was just going to mention years. I was just going to mention that the online pass, it was a terrible idea and something that basically said we hate poor people.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And they got rid of it.
Weren't they the first ones who started it too?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, they
So
were.
now everyone will follow suit.
The only company that I saw that followed suit with that was THQ, and look what happened to them. They're out of business.
No, other companies have as well. 2K did it with like Borderlands, and Call of Duty does it as well.
They did it?
But
yeah, 2K did it with Borderlands 2, and also the Call of Duty games as well have passes.
Call of Duty games have passes, really?
Oh, no. Oh, wait, are we talking about the whole season pass thing, or...?
No!
Oh, online pass.
Hey, my bad, I'm stupid.
I'm talking about online pass.
Oh, you mean the thing... Okay, I know what you mean, where if you buy a game
online.
first...
I'll explain it, I guess, for people who don't know. The online pass was basically, if you didn't buy the game new, then you had to pay an additional $10 just to get a code that would unlock online features, like being able to play online.
Which was such a bad idea.
Yeah.
It was a bad idea, and people hated it.
And now
And it
it's
turned
gone.
out that it wasn't doing anything to help EA sales for new games.
Nope.
Not at
You know,
all.
because here's the fact: it's a shitty economy right now. It's a shitty economy, and don't get me wrong, you know, gaming has always been expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But, and here's the kicker, they didn't make you pay extra for shit if you bought it new or used. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people buy used games because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about used games in the past, and when I compare the online pass issue to buying a house, and then they chain the bathroom door shut and say, "Oh, you need to pay the extra $100 to unlock the bathroom."
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing. But the fact is, once you buy something, you should have the rights to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But that's a completely different topic for another day.
Yeah.
But the fact is, EA is trying to come around, you know? Because they ruined their reputation. Capcom's another company ruined their reputation
Oh,
with
God.
on this DLC bullshit.
Well, the
Oh.
Capcom also does Content ID. If you didn't know, they do Content ID as well, like Nintendo
Yes, they
is.
do.
They're not
Mhm.
as
No,
bad
I'm
at
not-
it, though.
They're not as bad though. Yeah.
No. I think they do allow partners to make money, but still, they did the same thing beforehand too.
Yeah,
With them.
I heard from my buddy Ross that that Konami is just as bad.
Yeah, Konami. Yeah, they Content ID shit too a lot.
Well, once again, they don't do as bad as Nintendo's really the only one that does that a lot. That is now preventing you from making money.
Any money, no matter who you are, you can't make money off of it at all, and that's the big kicker to the whole situation. That's what's probably making them the worst right now of the three: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo.
You know, that's why ever since they've done this, like, I was going to go out and buy some Nintendo games before I go to this anime convention this weekend, and now I'm just like, well, you know what? Right now, they don't want me to make money. Well, I'm not going to give them my money.
Right.
Mhm.
That's it. You got to spend money to make money. You know?
I was in the same situation. I got the Kirby Anniversary thing, and I was thinking about playing a lot of the older games because I haven't been able to in the past.
And
And
that's it. Speaking of Kirby, well, I guess I'm never restarting my fucking Kirby's Adventure LP.
I know,
What's
right?
the fucking point?
you had less of a reason when you tried to come back, and now you have
What's
no
the
reason.
fucking point? I mean, I'd probably end up doing it anyway, but eventually. But it's just the idea. I mean,
You'll do it like Proton John does Superman 64.
and it's one of those things. It's one of those things. I have to keep reiterating this. It's not about the money, but when you've worked to get the partnership and everything that entails with that, and then suddenly, oh well, now it's useless.
Yeah, like, it took me, you know,
That
as
makes
Jalen knows, though, like, me and him have been doing this stuff 2 years. I know that doesn't seem like a lot for us, to some people, but like, we've just busted our asses for 2 years, and one of our most successful playthroughs ever was our playthrough of Skyward Sword.
Yep.
And I wanted to
did-
do more Zelda games in the future, and now, because I love Zelda games, now I'm just like, well, I'm waiting till they finally smarten up and say, okay, we won't do it anymore. If they ever do that.
I've been doing this on and off for 3 years. You know, even longer if you count my old reviews. And
yeah.
I mean, I've busted my ass trying to get shit up. And yes, it's been a roller coaster, up and down and all that shit. But I've always tried to upload content to the best of my ability, you know?
Mhm.
And because the idea of getting paid to do something you love is a dream.
Mhm.
That's a dream for people, to get paid to do something you love.
And it's not even like making a Let's Play is easy. I mean, if you especially want to record games nowadays, get ready to spend that $200 on that Hapag. You want to have a good microphone, make sure you spend a good $100. Let alone the game console and everything, and having the editing software to put it all together. Absolutely ridiculous. It's not like people are just putting them on there and making people, and not Nintendo's not making any money or anything. We do have to work to make our shit.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. Nintendo is basically saying that they own your experiences and they own your work. They own your effort. And that's not right. That's not right, because you know what? No, they don't. They don't own the work that I put into playing their game. They don't own the work that I put into to talk about their game. They don't own that. They don't own my memories. They don't own my experience.
It just said that this situation was probably going to come up sooner or later within the community, because it was getting big.
It was going to come eventually.
But it's weird seeing Nintendo being the one doing it. That's the weird thing.
I really thought
Nintendo's
Microsoft would be first.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I thought it was going to be Microsoft. Nintendo was like your fucking buddy.
I know, and it's just like, hey, look over there, and they'd shank you.
Yeah. Nintendo was like your pal.
Nintendo just turned heel.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Nintendo was like your fucking buddy. You know? They were the old reliable. You know, you always knew Nintendo had your back.
If you bought their console, you know there was going to be a good game coming out for it or something. There was nothing going to ruin it.
Nintendo...
I mean, even Sega didn't have that. I mean, Sega, they were back and forth. I mean, the Sega Genesis was great, Mega Drive was good, but as the games came out later on, they were kind of failing, but Nintendo always had a good game somewhere.
Nintendo was always the bar. Nintendo was always the bar of quality. Even if they didn't go out of their way to have the most powerful system ever, they always had quality games. Even in the fucking dark ages of the Wii, they still had great games.
But not as many. But that's a different conversation.
But they still set the bar. They still set the bar for having... I mean, even if they weren't the best, they were still, on average... And I'm talking... I mean, yeah, you had your shovelware bullshit of third parties. But Nintendo... I'm talking about specifically Nintendo themselves.
The first party was great, always.
But if Nintendo made the game, you knew that they always put that extra effort in there to make sure that you had a good time. They did it to make sure that the player had a good time, and people became loyal to Nintendo because of it, because they have a history of being good to their customers. And that's what it comes down to. They had a history of being good to their customers, and now they're basically saying, we don't give a fuck about you.
It's weird, because maybe now we're just seeing the business side of Nintendo when you think about it. I mean, the games themselves being really good has to go to their programmers and whatnot. I mean, I bet if we could hear some of them, I mean, I know they're Japanese and whatnot, but I bet if we could hear some of them on the situation, I bet they love the idea of this, that people are playing their games online and having a huge community.
Yeah, and
that's
many
developers it seems like it's the CEO. Yeah, that's why it seems like it's the bigger people out there who are saying, well, that's our product, we must make all kinds of money off of that, nobody else.
That's the thing about a medium that becomes really huge. You're guaranteed at some point to have people who, they kind of lose touch of what got them where they were.
Not every developer loves Let's Plays and whatnot. I will say that. Some people, at least the idea of making money off of it, some people are very stingy about that. They could say that, well, that I put my hard work into that. Why should they make money off of it?
I've seen other people who, in other mediums, for example, I know the author of the Game of Thrones series, he hates fan fiction, even if it's free. He thinks it's copyright infringement and that they should be thrown in jail.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I read that on his own blog.
I'm sorry, is that guy fucking 80?
You know what? I've never read the books, but somebody showed that to me who's a fan of Game of Thrones, and I said, wow, that guy's an asshole. Thank God I don't read his books.
I know, right?
Shit like that makes me, when you're that petty, and that's what it is, you have to be petty to say, oh, this guy expressing love for something I did in a way that I don't approve of, he belongs in a cage. That's petty. That's petty. And when people are making a living expressing how much they love you,
I know.
you know, yeah, they're making money off of it, but they're not taking money from you.
No.
They're not taking money from you. You still have a license to print money.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo does. Even with the way the Wii U has gone right now, we all know that once the first party titles come in, Nintendo will be printing money faster than the Federal Reserve.
Which, you know, I do love Nintendo games. I love Nintendo games, but I'm starting to get tired of this idea that the only reason the Wii U is going to succeed is because of first-party titles. They need to get over that. I know they're trying to open to more third-party stuff, but as you see with EA, they say, like, right now we're in that very odd time in the gaming world where we're in a generation switch. And it was awkward last time, but at least with the new systems, or our current systems, all developers were like, alright, you know what, we'll give everything a shot. You know, the Wii was different, the PS3 was near impossible to develop for, and the 360 was the one to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now here we are already, the Wii U, supposedly this first console for this gen. You have developers like EA saying that, like, it's so underpowered in comparison to what we're going to be getting by the end of 2013 that a lot of people should just avoid it. They even, like, their head architect for their software stuff said, you know, the Wii U is trash. It's not easy to develop for. The gamepad is just a gimmick, which we all knew that anyway. And, you know, they should just pull a Sega and sell their IPs to Sony and Microsoft, which I do disagree with, but that's beside the point. The fact that you have people like that saying that about your console, maybe it's time for you to take a step back and maybe, I know this sounds crazy, but go ahead and start planning your next console to, you know, actually be worth it to the hardcore gamer, like the core gamer, the ones who will buy every big major title for, like, the PS4 and the Xbox Infinity or whatever it's going to be called tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't, you know, that sounds cool and all, but we're talking about EA saying this.
Yeah, no, but you can't say EA's a bad developer. They have great teams behind their company, like BioWare and Visceral.
Right.
It's still EA. You know, it'd be one thing if we were getting a bunch of companies saying this.
Yeah.
But the company that's been nominated the worst company back to back.
I mean, they're just looking at the Wii U like, well, it didn't sell that well, so maybe it's just a bad idea.
And let's be honest, with the exception of a few games, what's EA known for? Generic shooters and Madden.
Basically. Oh no, I can't use the touchscreen to throw the ball. Oh, I'm so upset.
I don't think that's a big loss for Nintendo. I really don't. You know, if you had other huge companies saying that shit, you know, like, yeah, maybe we should stay the fuck away from Nintendo. That'd be something. But even then,
they're now. I mean, with Nintendo Direct recently, Sega is now coming with 3 new Sonic games. I think
even then, history would repeat itself. Even if no third-party people ever touched the Wii U, history would repeat itself. Because the Wii U outsold the PS3 and 360 a whole shit ton fold. And that's the truth.
No, Wii Sports sold that console. I'm sorry. It was not, you know, Mario and Zelda. People bought that for over 2 years because they wanted Wii Sports.
But it still oversold them. And Nintendo, even when they're fucking gimmicky, they still know how to make money. And that's what it comes down to.
I mean, even if they failed this generation completely, like, let's say they just had to shut the Wii U down, they would still be able to jump into next generation.
I'm not saying shut the Wii U down. I'm saying, like, when you start planning your next console, maybe think about more about what gamers want instead of gimmicks that you can use to make money.
But you know what, though? And even still...
I have to say this. You go, Fury. You go.
But even still, it's too soon for us to even say that the Wii U flopped. It's too soon. The thing just came out, a couple months ago?
Well, it's had a rough launch. We can say that it's had a really rough launch.
It had a rough launch, but so did the PS3, and look how good that turned out.
Look at the PS2. It had the most horrible library when it first came out, and yet it has probably one of the best libraries in gaming to date.
There you go. You can never, I mean, with the exception of a few things, you can never judge a console by its launch.
Oh, do you guys forget about that patch?
Yes, it has made games faster. I have a Wii U. When I first got the Wii U, it was pretty slow with launching stuff, but it does launch stuff a hell of a lot faster now.
Did you get the black one or did you get the deluxe?
I got the black one. I got deluxe.
Well, you see that 5 GB patch basically makes playing games on the basic console near impossible. You can't install anything. You cannot install anything. I think Nintendo also. Another thing about the Wii U, I'm not bashing the Wii U because I know I'm gonna get one eventually. However, like right now, one of the reasons why I'm really put off by it is that the storage space is terrible. Basically, they're saying, "Hey, if you want to play games, you have to go buy an external hard drive, or just keep deleting everything as you go." Which is frustrating to me.
You know what though?
I mean, they are doing good things though. However, because when the Wii first came out, they were trying to sell people on it. Now, if you don't want to have to use the gamepad, you don't have to. Many games are coming with just using the ProPad controller, which is actually a lot more comfortable than you think it is. You know, not only that, but on the Virtual Console, they are selling their games extremely cheap. I have gotten Kirby for 30 cents, Super Metroid for 30 cents, and also if you bought games on the Wii and you transfer it, though the way they transferred from Wii to the Wii U is bullshit, by the way, if you don't know. But basically, if you have it on there on your Wii U, you can get a discount price for it to have it playable on the gamepad.
I mean,
they are doing as well.
Yeah. There are good things about the Wii U. There are good things about it.
But
they are learning from their mistakes, just not all of them.
The thing is, with any console launch, you're going to have a lot of problems. I'll go back to the PS3. You were saying how it's bullshit, how it has so little storage space. I have one of the first PS3s. I only have 40 gigs on this thing, which is not much at all.
Better than 8.
Yeah, it's better than 8.
Yeah,
but it's better than 8. But but the PS3, you have to actually install the games on the thing. And some of those games take up a ridiculous amount of space. The WWE games, for example, take 4 gigs.
Well, that's more of just That's it really depends on the developer because some games don't have to install at all.
It might depend on the developer, but the fact is, a lot of developers still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the system, if you have a 40 gig system, that doesn't really compensate that well for that.
Yeah. Trying to get on back with stuff though is that the Wii needs help. The Wii U needs help at the most in trying to hurt people with the Content ID stuff. Trying to swing things back. Trying to hurt people with Content ID is a horrible ideal right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems kind of. Why would you do that at this point in time when you're having issues? I mean, the amount of money they're going to make off these videos is going to be so minuscule based on the money they could make actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Making games, trying to make the Wii U worth it.
I know. What they should be doing is working with the LPers.
Yeah, working with... I mean, that's what they did with the Runaway guys with the 3DS, with the thing. Why don't they do that with the Wii U? I mean... Hey, there's this new game coming out. Please play it.
It's a hell of a lot cheaper than hiring a marketing team.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Especially a marketing team online or something.
It's not even... you don't have to pay them anywhere near as much. In fact, you don't even have to pay them at all. Because the partnerships pay for that.
Basically, other companies with ads are paying them to not only... show their stuff at the beginning of the video, but basically showing your stuff for the whole video.
Let's be honest, most gamers don't even watch television anymore.
No, I don't.
I don't.
Because
I watch one TV show a week.
I watch
Netflix,
and that's it. All I watch on television is wrestling. But my TV has basically been replaced with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? If you're a gamer and you go on YouTube, what are you most likely going to watch? Gaming videos.
Yep.
So if the companies worked with the gaming videos, the big guy. I mean, I don't expect them to work with everybody.
Yeah, no.
But they could still do it without taking money away from them.
Yeah.
they could still do it without taking money away from, and they'd probably make more money.
Well, that's what some people are doing in a sense. I mean, some partnerships have it so that they split the revenue a little bit, like they give a little bit of revenue to the people who made the game.
Could you imagine in a Nintendo Direct video, by the way, the Runaway guys are doing our next big game. Please watch and enjoy.
Oh,
And
people would flock to watch just the Nintendo Direct thing that they have ads on, maybe.
that's it. You know? And not only that, but in the minuscule chance that some Nintendo gamers don't know who those guys are, they would have new subscribers.
Yeah.
And they would introduce them to other Nintendo games to make them buy them.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation, and it all comes down to the fact that copyright is bullshit, and it's just looking like a fucking way for Nintendo to make money and to say you can't make any either.
So all we can do now is hope that Nintendo decides to change their mind.
Yeah, which, you know, with the rate that this has been basically, and this is going to hurt them. I mean, there's no doubt about that. This is going to hurt them.
Well, it depends on who made the decision. If it's Nintendo of Japan, it's going to be hard to convince them.
But you know what, though? It's still going to hurt them.
Oh, yeah, even if they change their mind all of a sudden,
No,
they
not
would
even
still
that.
be hurt.
Not even that. I'm talking about, even if it's Nintendo of Japan, it's still going to hurt them.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying that if
they're-
Nintendo of Japan did it, it's going to be even worse, because trying to convince them, you know, like I said, Japan is very stingy with their copyrights. You do anything with any of their stuff, bam. And I don't mean that as anything racist or anything. I mean that in a sense that, for whatever reason, in
different
Japan...
It's how they are. It's how they're.
Yeah, the market is. That's how the market is over there. They are very stingy with their own copyrights.
Like I said, it's going to hurt them because you get no coverage. Then what? Then what? Then we just have to go. See, they want to. Like I said, they want to have this 20th century business model where we just tell you the game is good and you buy it.
Not anymore.
That's not how it works anymore. And Nintendo needs to realize that. They can either change their business model and go along with the market and make a ton of money, even more than they already have, or they can hurt themselves and hurt their reputation.
Well, at this point, all they can really do is wait it out.
Yeah.
You know, see what's going to happen.
This isn't going to be... This is going to be something that we're going to have to wait it out, see what the fuck they do. You know?
You know, any day now, they're going to have no choice but to respond.
Yeah. And even if it ain't today, if it ain't tomorrow, if it ain't the next day, if it ain't next week, if it ain't next month, they're gonna have to respond at some point.
Well, eventually, you know, someone's gonna approach them at E3 and ask about it.
Yeah. Depending on how many people, it could be a lot.
Yeah.
Nintendo, why you do this?
Sums it up pretty well.
Yep.
Yes.